The Balikatan Exercise 39-24 have taken up, and it will include many different exercises, but more so it is to improve the mutual development of both militaries and armed forces in all aspects of military operations, from tactical and to the strategic level. And it includes the cyber defense exercise, the FTX, and the maritime strike exercise, and the multinational maritime exercise to be held in the Western Mindanao Command. So with that, thank you very much for covering up for today, and good morning.
Thank you very much, sir. Now may we have the statement coming from Lieutenant General Jurney, sir, for an opening statement prior to the Q&A.
All right, great. Thanks. Thank you very much. Again, Lieutenant General Bill Jurney. I'm the commander for Marine Forces Pacific, and on behalf of Admiral Aquilino, I represent all of our U.S. forces who are participating here in the exercise, along with my counterpart as the exercise director. So it is again great to be here with our long-standing allies. It's an exciting time as we kick off the 39th Balikatan. And as many of you know, we've been doing Balikatan now for almost 4 decades. This year, we continue our duty, I would tell you, as we challenge ourselves. As I said previously, we've increased both the scope, scale, and complexity and pace of Balikatan. And we've increased our combined combat readiness and interoperability and opportunities to improve upon those. I mean, we're no longer focused on just sort of the small-scale unit tactics, techniques, and procedures. They are fundamental, foundational, but we are now focused at the operational level. I'm excited to talk more about this year's exercise during engagement here this morning. But I wouldn't want to miss the opportunity to say thank you to the Armed Forces of the Philippines, and more importantly, the people of the Philippines for being just such tremendous hosts. And thank you to the government of the Philippines and the local governments and the local communities for their support. Again, I would just say our combined efforts here as we advance our shared goal of protecting a peaceful and prosperous region for us all, just a tremendous opportunity in this year's Balikatan, and look forward to your questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Lieutenant General Jurney, sir. Now, prior for our question and answer, some ground rules that we have to observe. You'll be entitled for one question and a follow-up. Please state your name and your outfit and to whom your questions are being directed to. So first off, can we call the Buena Bernal of CNA Channel News Asia.
China is saying that the Philippines is stoking tensions through these exercises. Can you hear me? China is saying that the Philippines is stoking tensions through these exercises, but the fact that there are ASEAN member states in the observership program, do you think that that indicates that China is alone in its view? What do you make of the observership of ASEAN member states in Balikatan since the observership program started?
We thank you for the question, but I think the viewpoints goes for the DFA. Ours is only covered with the focus on Balikatan. Although both the Balikatan exercise has many implications, we emphasize that the Balikatan exercise between the U.S. and the Philippines has been going on for the past 38 or 39 years now, and it's almost 4 decades that we're having, and for the past 4 decades no issues has been raised on that. So I think it's just a matter of point of view on what the exercise really is. But for both militaries, the exercise have been in the improvement in capabilities, in understanding each other in all aspects of military operations. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenna. Do you have any follow-up?
Can you talk more about the observership program and what is the added value when states from ASEAN are involved in this program since it started 2 years ago?
Well, I would just add, I think it creates, an opportunity for all of us. It's inclusive rather than exclusive in most cases, and the Exercise Balikatan has continued to grow each and every year, and that's sovereign nations choosing and requesting to join the team here as we share our collective understanding and try to improve our collective capabilities across the board. So I think it represents an opportunity, and when people see an opportunity to get better and improve and create new relationships, they're interested. And we've seen that continue to grow. So I think it's very positive.
Thank you very much, sir. Now we call Patrick Jesus of PTV4. Please pass the mic.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. Sir, I think for the AFP side, can you confirm the report based on a tweet by... Can you confirm this report, sir, based on the tweet of military analyst Ray Powell that at least 2 Chinese maritime militia vessels were spotted just 30 nautical miles from the shores of Palawan? And can you consider this, that China is sending a message given the fact that we have opened the Balikatan exercises today and there will be a multilateral maritime exercise within the West Philippines?
Frankly, I cannot confirm you that on the presence of the maritime militia, but the Chinese maritime militia has always been in the South China Sea ever since the misunderstanding in these areas have started. So they've been there, they have developed them, but as to that report, I cannot confirm or deny it. But surely I would say that we would expect some presence of the Chinese side also because they have built their structures in these areas. Thank you.
Are there any contingencies just in case the Chinese side will become more aggressive during the exercises?
Well, as part of the multinational maritime exercise, we always adhere to international law and the freedom of navigation in these seas. So I think we wouldn't see any problem so long as we follow international law and follow our mutually agreed cooperative mechanisms. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Do you want to add up?
If I could, I would just offer, one of the key aspects of Balikatan, I think if you recognize a group of like-minded individuals who have come together by treaty in some case and by request in others, whether observing or participating, it is like-minded partners, allies, and friends who are here based on a fundamental value belief in an international order based on international law. And so I think that's the exercise is operating well within those, and those that aren't, I'll let you be the judge.
Thank you very much, sir. Again, may we request and remind all our media partners to really focus on the Balikatan exercise itself so that we will have a good interaction with our talking heads. Remember that our talking heads are the exercise director of these 2 nations participating, so they could better answer those. All other questions outside Balikatan can be addressed by our AFP spokesperson and the designated spokesperson for Balikatan. Thank you. So the next question, sir, will be coming from Joanna Balyaran of GG Press.
Good morning, sirs. I'm Joanna Balyaran from GG Press. Sir, can you elaborate on the island reef exercise? Tell us more about these and some details about the exercise and where and when will this exercise be held?
Well, the island taking exercise will take place in the areas of northern Luzon, particularly in the Batanes group of islands. And I think that's it. The island taking exercise, just an exercise on SOF operations, special forces operations, more or less.
So, is that in response to like the Taiwan issue?
Nothing really. It's part of the exercise as a means that our both the special forces units from the U.S. and the Philippine side work together in some degree of special operations.
Thank you very much, sir. Now we have a question coming from Jim Gomez from Associated Press. Jim, where are you?
Hi, sir. Hello. Sir, the exercises have a theme of territorial defense, or this year's version of the Balikatan, and for the first time, the activities are being held beyond the territorial waters of the Philippines, especially the South China Sea side. With this, what message are you sending to potential aggressor in the region? Can I get the answer from both the good generals?
Yes, it's the first time that we are going beyond our 24 nautical miles, but it's not really addressed to any aggressors. But for the U.S., as we have been speaking, and the Philippine side, it's more of the development of our interoperability, our collective effort, protection of international law, and develop that, make sure that the freedom of navigation in these areas goes freely and not impeded by any other parties in the process.
Thank you. Any follow-up, sir? Yes, sir. Can you add up?
I didn't get the first part of his question.
One of the themes of the exercises this year is territorial defense for the Philippines, and for the first time,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir. No, thanks. I think again, exercises here and exercises in other locations operate based on international order and international law, and I think well within your own sovereign rights and responsibilities. We're conducting exercises that are normal.
Yeah, you can have your follow-up, Jim.
But we have increased the scale and scope and complexity, as I said. So as you're describing something that appears to be different in an exercise, freedom of navigation and movement in accordance with international law goes on each and every day. And the fact that you're doing those concurrent with an exercise is perfectly acceptable in my view.
The U.S. military brought a mid-range capability missile system to the northern Philippines, but there's no plan to fire this system. So what is the tactical significance of bringing it here? And because it took several hours to bring it here from the U.S. to the northern Philippines, would you consider leaving it in the Philippines?
Sure. We all collectively, exercise participants, are moving and deploying a variety of equipment, planes, ships, systems that support, some new, some old. And all of those are an opportunity to learn, practice, rehearse, look at what the roads, the bridges, partners and allies have a greater understanding of equipment and capability. The Philippines themselves offer a great opportunity from a training standpoint, whether it's working in the littorals and the archipelago and islands, for individuals to operate. I mean, we go to Norway for cold weather training, mountainous environments, and so you have some of the most beautiful tough triple canopy jungle and waterways and islands for us to learn how to conduct operations across a full range of mission sets, not only as an individual service, not only with our bilateral partners, but with also other partners and allies. So like I said, that's the complexity of how we've continually and progressively increased what we're doing. And to do that while command and controlling and coordinating across that force and supporting and sustaining it logistically is pretty tough government work. All right?
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Jim. Our next question is coming from Ella Hermonia of Nikkei.
Good morning, sirs. So this year's Balikatan will hold the inaugural information warfare exercises. Can you expound on this? What are the specific activities it will include, and what targets are you hoping to achieve from the exercise? And how does it differ from the cyber defense exercise that I believe the AFP has already been doing?
I think, again, that represents the continuing increase in complexity, not only of this exercise, but today's operating environment. I mean, right now, as we sit here, you are conducting information operations, right? And so as a military force, being able to synchronize our activities and coordinate so that we work together is important. And as you know, achieving clear understanding by different parties in order to achieve a singular desired effect is challenging, it's tough. So synchronization, I would say, in the information space, you have to work across different systems. We have different systems that we need to be able to communicate across a combined and joint force. And so I'd say that's probably one of the key aspects of it, and we're all learning, and we're learning a whole lot from each other, and that's the other great opportunity that this presents.
The information warfare exercise and cyber exercise are highly different. As mentioned by my counterpart, we have included the information warfare exercise to increase the complexity and the exchange of learning knowledge between the two militaries. It also includes other parts of our government that are particularly from the Foreign Affairs, the PCO, and the Defense Department. We have included so that we would be able to integrate our own efforts as a whole of government in the process of information. While on cyber defense, it's highly different because it talks on the cyber, another domain of warfare that we have to develop, but it readily focuses on defense within the internet systems, within our communication systems, and that's the difference between the information warfare and the cyber defense.
Just to follow
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, follow up.
What kind of threats are you imagining, like, or expecting in the information space or cyberspace that you hope to address with this exercise?
Well, the cyberspace or information space that you have mentioned is very complicated. Every day we have malware, every day we have spywares that we are encountering, viruses. So it's very complicated that every day and day to day now we are encountering it, that we really need to be able to protect our systems and informations within that kind of system that we have developed.
I would say the other side of that would be opportunities. So there are challenges or potential threats, but there's also opportunities. So you need to approach both with equal vigilance. Again, none of this is based on any third country. We provide and create. Over the course of a year, we sit down and plan these and identify the objectives that we want to work together on. And so you create fictional situations that would allow a training audience to try to solve a problem and learn something from it. So that's the approach. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Another questions coming from Ken Sasaki of Kyoto News.
This time, first time that the PCG vessel actively participated into Balikatan. And why civilian vessels needed to be a part of this exercise? And is it related with the harassment or maybe water canoeing or something by Chinese side in West Philippine Sea?
I didn't quite understand the first part of the...
Sir, can you please
Was he talking
restate
about
your
a
question?
civilian vessel? Was he talking about a civilian
You're
vessel?
talking
the
about
Coast Guard?
including of civilian vessels in the exercise, and was this related in any way for the in our resupply mission that we use civilian? Is that it?
That's it.
So why are we including civilian vessels, like I think from the Philippine Coast Guard and our Coast Guard during the exercise? I think that's the point of the question.
Well, as mentioned earlier, that includes the complexity of increasing the complexity of the exercise, because it's no longer the whole military itself, but it already includes other agencies of government with the U.S. and the Philippine side working together to be able to protect our own interests and our sovereignty in the process. So it's just an integration between the different agencies of government to be able to protect our interests based on international law, our freedom of navigation, our interest in those areas as part of our sovereign territory. Thank you.
So being able to better communicate, coordinate with other agencies outside of a purely military organization, again, represents an evolving security environment that also represents an increase in complexity, but one in which we need to get better at and improve so that we're able to share information with our Coast Guards, with our police forces. And so we recognize those, and we really reach out to them and include all those interagency organizations in the exercise that we can. And once again, you know, the Philippines being a great host, they have accommodated those types of training opportunities in this exercise.
Thank you very much. Okay, follow up?
Yes. So what kind of training, particularly for these PCG vessels and Navy vessels, are going to be?
Well, it can be as simple as you got to talk to them. So you got to communicate with them. You have to be able to share locations and understanding in order to maintain maritime domain awareness of a situation. So command, control, and coordination is challenging enough internal to the United States Marine Corps. And now we need to do it across the Air Force and the Navy and the Army and the Coast Guard. And oh, by the way, now we're doing it across countries in a combined environment. So those things are training opportunities that we are getting after. So, and I think maybe they're taken for granted just a little bit. Like you're going to pick up your iPhone and be able to talk to everybody, and it don't quite work that way. And I don't think you think that, but just an example.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, sir. We have another question here coming from Bea Bernardo of NHK. Bea?
Good morning, sirs. Sirs, we have 14 countries participated as observers in this year's Balikatan. Is this the biggest number of countries that participated as observers? And may I know the total numbers of participants as observers, sirs?
Kumuha na ba nag-aantay dyan?
I really don't know yet the exact number now, but it includes our allies in Asia, and of course that includes Australia, South Korea, and Japan, as mentioned during the opening ceremony. So the real numbers of observers, I don't have the exact number of it, but that includes our allies. Just to emphasize, the exercise is to develop shared goals, the shared commitment. And that goal and commitment are shared with our friends, partners, and allies within the region. So that's just for the case of the observers, it's how to develop the trust and confidence within our neighbors, particularly the Asian countries. Thank you.
Okay, any follow-up there?
I will tell you, we did talk last year at the end of 23. We sit down at the end of this collectively with the group of leaders, and we talk about how it went, and we talk about, hey, what are our aspirations? What are the things that we're going to consider for next year before we start doing detailed planning? And both of us sat down with our senior leaders, and we ask ourselves, are we going to measure success by simply having more people participate? Or are we going to measure success by actually doing more complex activities? And so that's why in our opening comments we were highlighting. Now, there are plenty of individuals interested, and I believe the numbers are actually higher this year than last year, both in quantity and in observers. But I will offer to you that the real measure of success here is the complexity and scope of that which we are undertaking to get better at, right? And so, and we've got a lot of work to do, but I would offer to you to take a look at those as a real measure of success.
Thank you very much, sir. Just to give an update for everybody about the number of participants, this will be updated as time goes by during the entire conduct of the exercise. Some of the other participants are still coming over, so we'll give you some updates on that, and it will be coursed through our designated spokesperson for the Balikatan 39. So that will be it. Thank you very much, Bea. With no further questions, may we call on Cliff Venzon from Bloomberg. Cliff, are you? So, okay na yun sa atin. I think you have already answered your questions. Our last two questions will be coming from Ms. Ellen Aben and Spencer. So, Ms. Ellen Aben from Arab News, please.
Sir, yeah. Sir, what makes this year's Balikatan different from the previous iterations? What sets it apart from the previous iterations? And what sort of scenario are you looking at that you needed to conduct maritime exercises outside the Philippines' territorial waters? What kind of threats?
The difference between last year's Balikatan and now's Balikatan is actually increasing the complexity of the exercise and letting more people learn within each other. It's the learning that it's the quality of learning that we have now in the 39th iteration, and we have emphasized this particularly to our senior officers, because the command and control exercise is a really complex planning and decision-making process that we should do, wherein the side of the AFP should be well-trained and knows really how to do, so that in the actual sense of activities, we would be able to appropriately and efficiently perform it, and that would better serve the people we are serving in the process of this execution. And the complexities of this, the exercise that we have now really would improve the quality, capability of our own personnel, so that we can better serve you.
One, historically, there's been a command post exercise series of events. There's a field training exercise series of events, and then there's civic action series of events. And those were all executed very well and delivered the results that all were looking for. Very complex. And we've combined all these events underneath those for them to work after. We've also identified within those command control coordination challenges and opportunities. There's information warfare exercise, there's cyber exercise, there are the combined joint all-domain operations, because again, it is not only joint and combined, but the complexity that we have now applied across all domains: air, land, sea, information, cyber, space, and extending that into the interagency organizations to include the Coast Guard, the police, those would be examples that I would offer of how it has increased in scale, scope, and complexity.
The other question, what sort of scenario or threats were you looking at when you planned the conduct of maritime exercises outside the Philippines territorial waters?
We create scenarios that enable the training that we're trying to achieve. So you work backwards. So if you're trying to achieve the following objectives, then you simply create whatever scenario is most conducive to get the exercise force to do this. So there's not some standing scenario. It's based over the course of the year. That's the work that all of our planners do to generate those types of activities that we're trying to achieve in an objective. All right? And that is just standard training 101 for all training and exercises that we do those.
Sir Licudine would like to add up?
My counterpart excellently answered it already.
Okay, thank you very much. Our last question will be coming from Spencer from AAP Radio.
Morning, sir. This question is for Sir Licudine. My name is Spencer from AFP. What are the significance of Balikatan aside from equipping our national security, but in terms for our economic development? And can you give some information about this year's Balikatan's humanitarian civic assistance, its purpose and its objectives? Thank you, sir.
Well, this year's Balikatan, there are 4 programs for humanitarian civic action. One is Cagayan, another one is La Union, one is in Ilocos, Pasukin, Ilocos Norte, and the other one is in Rizal, Palawan. And the HHCA varies from schools to health centers that would help the communities. Well, the significance of Balikatan is, as mentioned within the opening, it's not just an exercise between the AFP and the Indo-Pacific Command, but it integrates all the collective learning, the understanding, the cooperation, collaboration between the armies to achieve that level of efficiency and interoperability so that we can better work with each other in the process of addressing issues and concerns within the region. So that's the real sense. But in the process of doing so, we develop that cohesion that would deliberately support also our effectiveness in matters of operations. Thank you.
And if I could, I would just add, as an example, and as you well know, Super Typhoon Ige last August, because of the opportunity of Balikatan and working together, both understanding the different locations and geography, and the ability to command, control, and coordinate with our counterparts, we were able to provide immediately both heavy lift helicopters and medium lift Ospreys that, quite frankly, moved from EDCA sites in Palawan to Subic, all under the direction of the government of the Philippines, working with all of our counterparts and pushing into the Batanes Islands from Lalo into Bosco. And that was thousands of pounds of life-saving support to folks who were suffering from that. So those are examples of how these opportunities working together in training during Balikatan enable those types of things. As likewise, just in February, with the torrential rains and the mudslides in southern region of Mindanao, that was C-130s right out of 3MEF that immediately they moved the locations that we had already practiced and worked together at under the same challenging command, control, and coordination across our governments to be able to make those things move faster at the need of the people to prevent suffering and save lives. And so those were a result of our continued working together, of designing an exercise that allowed us to better learn how to do those things in a more effective joint and combined way.
Thank you very much. That's the last question. And before we end with our press conference. May I request any parting statement or remarks would you like to convey? Can we start with...
None from me. I thank you for the opportunity, and I thank our gracious hosts. It's a tremendous opportunity. It's allowed us all to increase and enhance our combined operational capabilities across all domains like no other that we have an opportunity to do. And it's built on, just the ironclad relationship we have here with our Philippine partners. And so, sir, thank you for all that you have and continue to do, and look forward to working together.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Your parting remarks, sir?
Well, the exercise is well founded on the interoperability, cooperation, and collaboration between U.S. and Philippine Armed Forces, particularly so that we can better serve our people and protect our territory and sovereignty in the process. Thank you very much and good morning.
Yes, that's all for our press conference. Maraming salamat to our talking heads, Lieutenant General Jurney and Major General Licudine. Again, to our media partners present, maraming salamat sa inyong participation. Lunch will be served at Public Affairs Office, AFP. So after this, you can have that.